Good morning, everyone. Good to have you here with us again for another week. I want to ask you a question. Are you humble? It's one of those questions that maybe it's almost impossible to answer. I heard somebody say one time that if you have to tell somebody that you're in charge, you're probably not in charge. The same thing is true with humility. If we have to tell somebody that we're humble, we're probably not very humble. And that's what I want to talk to you about this week, is just the attitude of humility and really how it plays out in our relationship with God and our relationship with other people, and really what it means to live as a humble person. We know what pride is like, right? We oftentimes can identify that in ourselves and in the people around us. I remember it was a number of years ago, I was in college, and it was my senior year in college, and every year the professor selected 2 students to speak in chapel. And it just so happened that I was one of those students who got picked to speak in chapel that year. And I was up and I was speaking in front of the student body and the teachers and all the administration of the college. And as I was finishing up, I was starting to walk off stage, and in my mind I thought, man, Ashely, you did a really good job. I'm glad everybody was here to hear you. And just as I began to step off the stage, I stepped on the top step, walking down off the stage, and all of a sudden I slipped and I fell. And right there I was reminded of God's word in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. It says this: "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before stumbling." There I was somewhat prideful, and I was thinking really highly of myself, and I slipped and I fell. You know, the antidote to pride in our lives is true humility. Some people think that humility is putting yourself down, but that's not humility. Humility is lifting other people up, lifting the people around us up. As we humble ourselves before God, we're exalting God. As we humble ourselves before others, we're lifting them up. That's why in Matthew chapter 20, verses 26 to 28, Jesus said this. He said, "Whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant. Whoever wants to be first must be your slave. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many." Jesus is the greatest example of humility. The one who deserves all the praise is the one who came and lifted others up. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with receiving accolades and receiving praises as long as we stay focused on the one who put us there. Somebody said one time, if you walk along and you see a turtle on top of a post, realize that somebody put it there. In the same way, whatever good things happen in our life, we, as believers, we realize that it was God who put us there. And so as we journey this week together, I hope you'll be here as we talk about really, again, what it means to be humble, what it looks like in our lives, and the impact that it can have on the world around us. So I would encourage you today just simply to pray. If you have been trapped in pride, just pray and ask God to forgive you of your pride and thank him for the humility that he experienced on your behalf so that you could experience salvation. Look forward to seeing you here this week as we talk about a very important issue.